Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And Katie's here.
Of course, my mic is muted.
That's
Morning.
okay. Good morning. And Nick is here.
I'm also here. Good morning.
Good morning. And Gal is here. So we're all here.
Morning and happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yes.
Yes.
Say the first day.
No.
The second.
Tonight is going to be fourth light.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. And Katie, I wish you wrote me something. I forgot to put the new intro.
Oh, yeah. I thought about it.
It'll take a
before.
couple months. It's okay.
No, I'll get on his butt about it because
Yeah,
it's super cool.
It's
It
just
is.
that this computer during the week is, after I do the last show, is off. So when I was looking at the intro and all that, I'm trying to copy it from my machine to here. Oh, I don't have that machine. It's off. And yesterday I didn't think about it when I turn it off. I turn it on Saturday night normally before I go to bed just to make sure that it.
Well, I'll be on your butt about it next week.
All
Show
right.
us now.
No, it's a surprise.
I don't
Oh,
have it here anyway.
Yeah, for some reason your computer in the studio is so disconnected from everything
Yes, it is.
else.
I want it to be disconnected.
he's got
but
an
it's
air
annoying.
it's air gapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Sneakernet.
Yeah, he's running. Gaia is back and forth running packets at an unbelievable rate to get this program to the air this morning.
GaiaNet. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
That's it.
He is hauling ass back and forth, making this show
Oh, boy.
possible. The unthanked hero.
I just noticed she's not here.
I know a guy. It's my brother-in-law's brother who has a company that does air gapped backup. By
Yeah.
people send them tapes, literal tapes from like the cartridge tapes from IBM systems.
There's a Gal's probably seen this on some of the subreddits that he probably browses. I know Gal's on these subreddits. Tape backup is becoming seemingly more and more popular. Modern tape backup is becoming more and more popular for people because the cost has gotten very, very low. Who's it? HP Gal that makes I think they're the main ones that make the
I
tape
think
drive.
HP, yeah. You're talking about the robotic devices. Yeah, I think
mass
I think
storage.
I think the reason they're becoming popular is because those that were very, very expensive 10 years ago are being decommissioned in a lot of places, but there's nothing wrong with them, So a lot of home labs are probably switching to backups on those instead of cloud. They're probably cheaper in the long run. So
Sure.
yeah.
35 years ago, I worked on IBM mass storage, and it was a cylindrical space with little cubbies all the way around. There was a robotic arm that would go in and pull the tape out, load it in
Yeah,
a
jukebox for backups.
Yeah, and it was literally like a roll of I could roll a toilet paper type of thing where you pull the tape out of this thing. It was kind of a cartridge, but it was called mass storage.
Was
Yeah.
it a cartridge in a pear tree?
That's it. Yeah. But the warning was you couldn't be inside working on it when it started because it would crush you. the robotic arm didn't have a sensor to say there's somebody in there, so it would just come along and
Oh man.
take you out. Yeah.
Sure, OSHA loved that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they eventually you had to interlocks and all that stuff were put in place, so people
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
get.
it's not like interlocks
Yeah.
haven't existed for
Yeah.
60 years.
What technicians would do was keep the door open, and to get it to work on it on the inside, they
Yeah.
put something in the interlock,
Yeah.
which
Well,
was dumb.
I've bypassed a few interlocks in my
Oh,
day.
that's
So
what
if you're trying to troubleshoot something that's up and operational, it's the only way to do it is to bypass an interlock.
when we would go to get training, we would go to a school, and they'd have all the equipment out on the floor with no covers on it. And they'd have all the interlocks would be bypassed. So when we got to the field, we didn't know how to take the covers off. To get there, and you got to call somebody and say, how do I get the covers off this?
I had a one of those. I wouldn't call it a jukebox, automatic changer. I guess it is, but it was the smaller cartridges that were 4 gig back in the day, and every day it had a different. When it's done backing up, it would put the next one for tomorrow. This was back in, sheesh, 95, 96.
It was
Before my
an
time.
auto loader.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
And you put,
Amnon, your audio is very low compared to everybody else.
okay. I mean, it's over here.
So just Amnon, just turn up the aux send. That's all you have to do on that channel. Don't touch anything else. Number 4, I think.
Number 4.
I think it's number 4.
Is this better?
Yes. Perfect.
How about this?
Very good.
Much gooder.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Much
it needs
gooder.
to be at 12 o'clock. I moved it from
Much
9 to 12, so it's fine.
Yeah, there we go. You're much gooder now.
You did a
But
time change.
You know what the interesting thing is, and you see, this is where I still don't understand. I don't see any difference on the UV meter here. I don't
Well, it's a
see
VU
anything.
meter, so maybe that's part of your problem. We're not determining light pollution. We're
Is
looking
it
at audio.
Sorry.
Is it an LED view meter?
Yeah.
View meter? I mean, what's the difference between one to the next? It could be 20, 30.
Well, but the thing is, I'm looking also, Nick, on the mixer, and it's the same thing. It's between 2 and 3.
Who knows? When Windows restarted,
it's
it may have changed the volume of the internal sound card microphone. Who knows?
All right, it's fine as long as it's working. Yeah.
So I got fiber this week. For longtime friends of the show, you will remember my saga back 3 years ago. It was November of 2020. Wait, no, that was 2 years ago. November of 2021. When I moved into my house in July, I had AT&T. Was very happy with the service, and then all of the sudden, I started experiencing incredible amounts of packet loss. So much so that it was
Unusable.
unusable.
Yeah.
Yeah, like now most things were fine. Watching YouTube videos, not a problem. Downloading video games, not a problem. Playing video games, huge problem.
Sorry, can you explain what packet loss is?
Yeah, I will. Streaming, or doing a video chat like this, not possible. Anything that required low latency, was just not working. And for what Katie's asking, when you send out packets, internet packets, and when those packets get dropped, you lose part of. It's like a puzzle almost. You're losing part of the picture. And I was dealing with this crazy high packet loss. I've got some images here. This was back, these screenshots were taken on, what's the date on these things? These are all the way back from November 9th of This says 2020. Yeah, no, this would have been right. It was 3 years ago, November 9th of 2020. And this is what I was dealing with internet-wise during
Ooh.
peak hours, completely unusable. Um, and this would happen. And if you'll notice the one thing in common, it was this second hop, this 12240. That's an AT&T hop.
Oh,
And
hold on a second.
I,
What
yeah,
what's happening is Zoom is trying to filter your feed. Is anybody else seeing that?
Mm-mm.
No?
filter my feed. What does that mean?
It's like it, maybe it's my end. It's making things all squiggly, like it's trying to up the quality. Does it look sharp to you guys?
It's yeah, it's bandwidth on your end.
Oh, okay. I'm
Um,
having problems.
Are
Katie,
you
so,
on
so
cable or are you on fiber?
I am on fiber.
Yeah, are you doing something in the background?
It is
Internet-wise?
No. I mean, I have internet up and I was downloading, but I'm not downloading anymore.
Okay.
Katie, packet loss. Think of your connection to Amnon right now is a train,
Uh-huh.
right, of data with cars, train cars going along. The data on your end gets put into one of those train cars and it's sent over to Amnon. If for some reason some of those cars disappear, that's packet loss. So you should have a continuous stream of data between two ends of a conversation, for example. And the packet is the chunks of data that get sent across the internet that get us reassembled at the other side into a tangible connection. So
I,
if
I,
packet
I
loss means parts of it just disappear.
did you understand it, Katie?
No, I understand it. I'm talking
Okay.
about it looks like Zoom is I'm not getting a clear video feed from Nick's thing. It's like warping it, and it looks like an
Yep.
effect.
and
I shared.
I'm not getting a clear signal from you either. So I wonder if it's an issue between you and I,
Yeah,
which is not
even
impossible.
it's
Are
so
you,
weird.
Katie, are
You
you
are
on?
experiencing in real
Packet
time
loss.
packet loss.
Packet loss. Well, I
Yep.
shared a picture.
Yeah, that's
on,
I
that's
saw.
what your video kind of looks like to me here.
Wait a
Yeah,
second now.
it's
Hold it. Katie, are you on AT&T?
yeah.
I'm wondering if they're having a problem because I'm on Google here, but no, Spence is on AT&T too, right?
And I've
And
had
Nick, you're
problems
on.
problems in the last week, on and off,
Hmm.
unreachable.
What's weird is I think it's a Zoom thing
You
because
look fine. Over here, we don't see any, I don't see anything unusual.
Yeah, it's between you and me, Katie, because I just sent a screenshot of what your video looks like. It's all fuzzy too. So nevertheless, I was dealing with
right.
incredible
Yeah.
amounts of packet loss in 2020. I had to drop AT&T because I could never get above level 1 or 2 support. I just needed what I needed was a new IP address, and they wouldn't give me one.
Support
And
was non-existent.
abysmal. Well, no, it's not that it was non-existent. It's that I couldn't convince somebody to get me to somebody that I
Yeah,
could
that's what I
actually
mean.
explain the issue to. It was new modems. It was all of this BS. None of it solved the problem. I just needed a new IP address. The IP route that I had was just no good. And with that, um, I went back to Spectrum, and I've been using Spectrum for 3 years, and while the speeds weren't amazing, to 300 by 20, it was a sufficient internet connection. When I was up in Raleigh a couple weeks ago, I was looking through it was beginning of the month. Actually, it was last weekend. Beginning of the month, I was looking through all my bills, and I saw that Spectrum had raised the 20 or the 300 or 500 by 20 plan to $100 a month, 99.99 for that internet package, and
And that's only internet.
that's just internet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have nothing else through them,
Right.
and that is too much money to be spending for coax internet at
Mhm.
the speeds that I was getting. So I decided to give AT&T a try again. I had a tech install it on Tuesday. And unfortunately, I really haven't been home at all since then. So I haven't had a chance to play around with it. But Amnon, I did get an interesting error earlier this week. Tuesday night, when I was uploading the podcast to
Mhm.
archive.org, I got an error that I was uploading too quickly. So I had to throttle my speed to upload a file to archive.org, which is a good problem to have, I guess.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they have a speed threshold, which I guess makes sense. It's a free, upload service. But I believe so far so good, and I will continue to follow. I really don't want to have to go back to Spectrum, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's like $65 a month or something like
Yep.
that, or $75 a month. And the speed is like I uploaded Infection used to take me about 25 minutes to upload, and now it took about 2 minutes.
Yep.
Who did you
With
say you switched to?
AT&T.
Oh, you have AT. Oh, you went AT&T Spectrum back to AT&T.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I have AT&T fiber
And I'm
too.
hoping that I can stay with AT&T long term. It didn't happen right away. This happened in November. I moved in June of 2020 or July of 2020. So it worked for a couple of months, and then all hell broke loose. So
Yeah, but I would
we'll
say that they matured and a lot of
they
things.
did. They
Yeah.
were doing a lot of work in this area at the time. They were really rolling out AT&T heavily in this area. So hopefully all of those issues. There's a lot of construction going on in the area, so who knows?
Mhm.
But yeah,
The real
that's
question
that.
is, were they learning TCP/IP?
Uh, you hope that even if they're not learning, that their newer hardware knows what to
Well, I'm
do.
not sure that it's
Oh, no,
newer
no, no.
hardware.
Oh,
But
I'm
they are
sure they
now
change
using
hardware.
AI to route everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. I mean, Nick couldn't change his IP. He
They
would
wouldn't
leave
let
it
me. Yeah.
off for all day and still gets the same IP.
I left it off for a whole weekend that I was out of town. I just unplugged my
Yeah.
modem and came back, same damn IP address. I was even to the point where I was willing to buy a block of 5 static IPs, which was the minimum I could buy, just to get a new IP address. And then they told me I couldn't do that either.
yeah,
That's
I've had
bizarre.
AT&T for over a year now. Absolutely love it. AT&T fiber, let me
Yeah.
specify.
Yeah.
And it's been such a game changer. And
Yeah.
I had Spectrum and immediately dropped them because there was this back end scam that they were like not acknowledging, or if they acknowledge it, they said there's nothing they can do about it, which blew my mind. It's where somehow people got added to my account
What?
and yeah, and they got my information and were trying to reroute my billing to them. uh and so I called them and I was like, hey, what is this? And they're like, oh, well, your email probably was hacked or whatever, and they added this account. And I was like, okay, well then what's the account, like what's the address, because it's saying that I have a second residency. And they're like, oh, we can't tell you. I was like, what do you mean you can't tell me? It was added to my account. And they said, oh, well, we can't say rules. Well, if I'm supposed to be paying for this, what do you mean you can't tell me what the new address and everything is? And so immediately I dropped them, and they kept trying to convince me that my email was hacked. And I was like, my email's not hacked. Like, what are you talking about? It was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. So I immediately just dropped them and switched to
That
AT&T.
it wasn't hacked. What they do is you can link accounts
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Like your wireless phone and your internet are two separate account numbers. So you can link them together into it's not a common bill, but you can view them under the same ID. So they link somebody else's wireless account to your internet. So they
Yeah,
were trying to consolidate it for billing. And
it was absolutely crazy that just talking to them, like the talking to people on the phone, and they were trying to convince me that I was the crazy one. And I was like, what are you guys talking about?
Yep.
I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
I
Yeah.
know. And they were like, do you know how to use the internet? Do you know what the internet is? I was like, you are so condescending right now. Like, what are you?
I'm not crazy. I got checked.
Yeah, I know. I take pills for that.
I'm happy with AT&T service, but I can say unequivocally that AT&T's customer service is worse than Verizon's, which is it says a lot.
I gotta
have
say that, like, I've used Spectrum before, right? And then Google Fiber over here when they came over, and I cannot say Google Fiber customer service exists. I've never had to interact with
I
them.
know, the same
Right?
here.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that there weren't issues, but every time there was an issue, there was clear communication immediately as the issue occurs of there's an issue, we're on it, we're taking care of it, blah, 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 blah. I've never needed to
How does that work?
interact with customer support. I don't know. I email, like you get an email or something.
Oh, that's what I was
Like,
asking you. So they'll literally email you during an issue?
Well, mine
uh,
was through the
if
app.
if it was a large scale outage, then yes. Not only
Okay.
that, you will, if you missed it, right, then you'll know about it in the bill because they reduced the amount by a few cents for the amount of time that the internet was out, etc.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like you know about it. It's like nothing is under the radar, everything is clear. There was a large outage for about, I think, actually like a whole day or 8 hours, like very long, right? Like, and yeah, and reaching out, opening just the app to see the diagnostics. And I'm not using the router either, but still, you get in the diagnostic, it tells you that the area is down and stuff. It was, I I didn't need to interact with anybody. So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if that means that it's better, but it's like overall the technical aspect of it was a lot pleasant.
the best customer service is the one that you don't have to call.
In a way, I agree.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I had an issue with my internet this week. It just randomly cut out. So I immediately opened the app, and the app has like a chat screen where it like walks you through the problems and like helps you troubleshoot with pictures and stuff. And by the end of it, it wasn't working. And then and then when it doesn't work, it connects you with a person. And but as soon as the person said hello, how can I help you, my internet came back on. So I was like, nothing, I just had to connect with you, we're good. And they're like, oh, is there anything else? I'm like, no, it's fine. And I gave them a 5-star review. Because for all I
Of
know,
course.
maybe them connecting it like moved the heavens and my internet came back online.
I have a very long term, had a very long term relationship with Bell South and then AT&T because of working on customers' remote locations. And I can tell you, they do not admit something's wrong
Yeah.
because there are tariffs and penalties in place for for you at a leased line T1 going to your remote location, and it was down. They had to pay or at least um, refund you for the time off. So you would go there, you we test the line, line's down. Call AT&T. Oh, we don't see any problem on that line. But miraculously, 10 minutes later, it would start to work again. So that's the way they got
Yeah.
around. They would always
Yeah.
deny that there was anything wrong.
Yeah.
I've had problems with AT&T fiber, not a lot, but when it does have a problem, it drives you crazy because it's so intermittent. It's basically their internal routing network has a problem. And you'll try to go to a site and you'll just sit there and nothing happens. You can go to some sites, but not all sites. And you go on the app and you say, diagnose my connection. No, everything's great. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm hopeful. My expectations aren't all that high, but we'll wait and see.
It'll be fine, Nick.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Who are you with again? Is it AT&T
AT&T.
again?
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
they fired all those people, as everybody's new.
Yeah. I
Wait,
just couldn't justify
I want to
$100
talk
a month for
about what
coming.
I did this week. Because
Yes.
I'm gonna. It sounds like you were gonna start talking about
No, you go ahead.
the whatever the news feed. So I am expanding my 3D printing escapades. I had a friend reach out. My friend works for the Boston Aquarium as a seal trainer, and she what they were looking to get done or get printed were buckets that they put fish in for the sea lions, but the buckets tie onto their belt loops or whatever, and so they don't actually have to physically carry around a bucket. And then when they're doing shows or doing whatever, they could just pull it out of their pocket and throw it to the sea lions. Well, the Georgia Aquarium, they make their own buckets or whatever. And so my friend was like, oh, where'd you buy those buckets? And like, oh, we 3D printed them ourselves. And so the Georgia Aquarium gave them the STL files so that they could print them themselves, but they don't have 3D printers. So they reached out to businesses all in the Boston area, and all of them turned them down. They said that this was gonna cost too much money to print. It was too expensive, and like it was gonna cost over $100 to print a bucket. And so my friend reached out to me because I've been talking about 3D printing. She was like, "Hey, can you print this?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I here's the bucket. And it has the belt loops that you go through. I didn't make this 3D file, but uh, she sent it to me, and um, this size takes about 12 hours. No, sorry, 7 hours to print. And I don't know what they're talking about it being so expensive because yeah, it uses probably about $6 or $7 worth of filament. Um, but that's that's not crazy. That's not astronomical. And so these businesses that are doing 3D printing, I don't know what is going on with them and charging buku bucks. But yeah, I'm printing out seal fish buckets for the Boston Aquarium, and it's pretty cool. I'm not just
That's
printing.
crazy.
Yeah, and so then also with the 3D printing escapades, I met a 3D printing business where they sell printers and they sell filament, and they do custom prints for you. So I reached out to them, I emailed them, I was like, hey, I've got this thing. How much would it cost to print one of my dragons? Which again, I didn't design this dragon.
Yeah.
I licensed it from somebody else. They got back a quote with me for $150. And I was like, thanks, but no thanks.
They don't want anybody to use them for mass production. They want people to, like, you don't have a 3D printer and you have a one-off project, we'll take your money. But how can they sustain themselves? I have no idea.
Exactly. But they sell really nice filament, really nice colored filament. In fact, here's one I got from them. It's the camera's not doing it really justice, but it's navy blue and it's got glitter in it. And it's really nice in person. So I actually went to their brick and mortar this week, and I went in there to buy more filament, and there was employees in there who I haven't met. So I think I met the owners at the cons or whatever. So I was talking to them, and I was like, yeah, I'm printing out this stuff, and I tried to ask you guys to print it, but it was way outside my budget. And they said, yeah, the business actually isn't making any money. And I'm like, well, then why?
Of course.
Why are they why are they charging astronomical prices if they're not making money? Like, and I get it. Like, what they want to do is that you need to recoup your costs on the filament, and they're recouping their costs on the time of a print. But the time of a print could be anywhere from 5 to 20 hours, and if you charge
But let me ask
$10 an
this.
hour,
Were any of the printers working when you were there?
no. And so
That's the thing.
yeah, so
right?
then I was talking to the
Idiots.
employees, and I said, yeah, I'm trying to get this print, and they're like, yeah, and they sounded a little frustrated. I think, well, because I guess their job's in jeopardy if their business not making any money, and they were like, hey, well, we have 3D printers, we'll print it for you. And I was like, and I thought they meant like the business was like, I can't afford $150. Like, no, we'll do it. So I got their contact information, and I reached out to them, and I'm just gonna cut out the middleman and have, because there's people that have 3D printers that want to print and they want to get paid to print, and I'm like, I would gladly give you my money. It's just we got to be reasonable here, because I've got all these printers and they're running nonstop printing stuff for me, and I'd like to do other stuff. But yeah, so if there's a need, there's a way or whatever. There's a lot of people that want custom stuff. They just can't afford. It's like they only want to print stuff for business to business medical equipment or something, and that's not sustainable, and then they wonder why they go out of business.
Well, I don't disagree. I don't think it's not sustainable. I think you get a couple of, like what you're describing, enterprise customers, healthcare, Fortune 500, whatever. That cost to them is irrelevant, and then you don't have to deal with people like you, Katie, small little jobs here and there. You just don't have to deal with it. You get your couple of your big fish, your big whale customers, and hopefully that suffices for your business.
But how do you expose yourself if you're not producing anything?
Well,
It's
that's the issue is that you wait for
Yeah.
those whale orders come in, and that's what keeps you sustained. I don't think it's a very good model. You probably can
No.
sustain it for a while, but it's not long term.
Well,
there.
so they said that they're not making any money, and I was like, well, maybe if you sell your business, I might be
It's,
interested.
it sounds like the business model that they have
Yeah.
says that you won't accept business unless there's this much margin for us.
And that's what it is, exactly.
Let me
And they
ask.
just
Go ahead. It's just what.
and if they would understand that while they have machines that are idle don't make any money ever.
Yep.
Exactly.
So just even if it's breaking even, you got a cash flow. You got a cash flow problem. That's the problem. They don't understand the business.
Yeah. And
Okay.
two, it's like it's also when you do these jobs for people, it's not about losing or losing money on it. It's about creating a relationship. And then those people tell another person and
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's multi-factor. It's not just you make a product and that's it, you're done. If you want to be a successful business, you have to build relationships with these people.
Okay, Katie, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
All the stuff that you are printing, you got the files for, right?
Yeah, I pay
Okay.
to
Okay.
license them. Yeah.
What happened? Is it not possible? Are these people maybe they want to make money creating the files also? And when you give them the
Yeah.
file, they say, oh, shoot, we're not going to make anything, just printing. We can make a bunch of money from building the file. I don't know what it takes to build a file, though.
Sorry, I don't think I understand your question.
I think this is what he's saying, and it's a good point. Like it's like the same thing when you're going to like a printer, like an industrial printer, right? You can go there and say, "Hey, I want you to make my graphic, my poster." Right? They charge you $150 for the design, and then whatever it is for the prints. I wonder if it's the same thing with these guys.
Oh, I
They
see what
make
you're
their money
saying.
on the STL markup file on all that stuff, and you're coming in with the file, and they just don't want to deal with it.
I I I get what you're saying, and there are businesses that do that, and I feel like those so that is more like a consulting full package where you come with an idea, somebody they help prototype for you and print it.
Yep.
Um, but that's not what this business does. This business is a service where they just have the printers. Maybe they do 3D stuff on the side. And there's certainly businesses that I specifically was targeting ones that offer printing service. You pay for printer time, essentially.
Okay.
It's just their markup on printer time was astronomical.
Yeah. They want to make the money right there then to cover
Yeah,
everything from one job. Yeah.
yeah. And
Well,
maybe they do prefer the 3D service or I mean the STL service. I don't know. I didn't get
I'm
that
sure they do.
impression.
It's very cheap. It's of no cost to them minus labor there that they're already paying.
right.
So yeah, that's selling. It's the exact same thing as going to a print shop.
Yeah, I think where a lot of these businesses 3D at least in this case in this 3D printing business, it's more that they're trying to make money off of selling filament and 3D parts and 3D printers to the masses. Unfortunately, uh what they sell is stuff that can already be found online, and a lot of 3D printer hobbyists get most of their stuff online just because, like for instance, Bamboo, the printer that I buy, they don't sell third party, so you have to go on their website and you have to buy from them. So it's like they're more geared towards people looking at getting into 3D, and they can show up and buy it in person and stuff, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I
Hmm.
don't know how sustainable it is if people that already were going to think about 3D printers have gotten 3D printers. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm so happy, Katie, that you have found your niche for pretty 3D printing. I'm part of it is my fault, but I've had a 3D printer for 4 years, and I've
Well,
probably run a dozen things off of it. I've never had something. I've just never really found it. It just never
yeah,
really clicked.
I
Katie, we
appreciate it.
found a giant warehouse for you to move into.
I wish y'all don't play. Oh my gosh, Bamboo. Okay, so I can't praise Bamboo enough, the company that makes my 3D printers. They're coming out with a new printer December 14th, so in 4 days. And the printer is, I think I don't know what the price of it is yet, but so the Bamboo printer, the regular ones, come in not fiberglass. I don't know. They come in like a frame. They have a frame to them. So they're like a box and it's very sturdy. Whereas other 3D printers that you'll see is just like a bed, metal arms, and then the printer part.
Mhm.
And that's to keep costs down. Well, bamboo's like super high quality, so $600 for their base model. You get the frame and everything, but I think they're trying to target to get under that $600 price. So they're coming out with a regular 3D printer that's a sling bed, which means the bed moves instead of the printer part moves. And I don't know why it makes it cheaper. Oh, I don't even know if it makes it cheaper. I'm just assuming it makes it cheaper. And it's going to have an AMS attached to it. And AMS is a system that can hold multiple spools. So when a spool runs out, it automatically goes to the next one. So you don't have to physically switch it out, which is what I need to upgrade my units to. Because right now I'm burning through filament so fast that I have to like replace one. Each printer gets like a new spool almost every day. So I like burn through a lot of spools, which gets really annoying. Anyway, sorry, we can start
I
talking
have a
about 3D
question for
printers.
you.
Yeah.
Have you tracked your electric bill?
We talked about it last week.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
this is what I should have given you. Now I
Uh,
remember.
I
Okay.
will say
What, a kilowatt?
I haven't noticed a difference in my
Okay.
bill.
All right, there you go.
Last month it was $65, and I don't know what it's going to be this month. It's probably going to be high this month because I keep going back and forth between heat and AC. It's like
Yeah.
ridiculous the weather around.
No, but
here.
I mean, your bill's not $400. I mean,
No.
$65 is a pretty standard electric bill for a house. I mean, that's not egregious.
Yeah, nah, it's pretty
Okay.
negligible.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
also
great.
swing. You have a heat pump,
Yes.
so you're swing season now. You're not running your air and you're not running your heat too much. So
Yeah.
you'll see summer and winter the bill will be higher. I have a question just about the business itself. How much of the I'm going to say content, that's really the wrong term to use, for the output of 3D printers is designed from scratch using CAD software or actual mock-ups that they make and they use a scanner.
Mm, for the stuff that I print, I feel like I'm gonna say like 99% of the stuff that is 3D printed is somebody designs it on in 3D software. There are scanners and there is a business for that. It's just not something I'm familiar with. Because I don't know if maybe the scanning isn't up to snuff as much, but I just don't see it as. But
The
I will say,
scanning, the scanning is really, anybody have a crown made in a dentist's office recently?
Yeah,
You
I
could
know what
go,
you mean. I know what
they
you're talking
have,
about.
yeah,
I saw the same type of a scanner that they literally have a device they put in your mouth
and
and they
scan
move it
scan your
around
teeth.
and they're looking at the screen and they're doing a 3D image of the crown.
Wait a minute.
It's so precise.
Do I need to break into the dentist industry
No, no, no.
again?
Uh,
I just
saw
don't. That's not my realm of expertise. So the stuff that I print are like statues and miniatures and toys and stuff like that. And so that's all designed on the computer. So they're very well maybe like a huge big 3D printing. I keep getting advertised for scanners. Like there's a lot of Kickstarters where people are making 3D scanners, but I just don't use it.
but I watched a video the other day of a guy who I want to show you our handheld scanner. And it looked just like the dental one. It's just a small handheld device on a cable. And he took his hand and he put a phone holding his, he had his hand holding the phone. He took the phone away. He scanned his hand. Then he 3D printed his hand. And now he has a phone holder that's designed to hold his phone.
That's nice. You know,
So
I
it
was
was, and
messing with.
it wasn't a big device at all.
No,
And
well, you could do it with just your phone. Last year I subscribed. It was like $7 a month to this app where if you have a phone that has, I don't know what the camera's called, but on the iPhone, it's that little black dot. This little black dot that's on the phone. Come on, there we go. It scans 3D scans stuff, and I don't know what it's called. All I know is that when I was looking up tutorials, it's like you have to have that black dot. And the app will scan things with your camera, your phone camera, and it looked really cool. And that was before I had a 3D printer, and then I stopped because I was done scanning stuff in my house. But maybe I should go back. I don't even remember what it's called. I need to look it up. whatever that app was called that I downloaded.
You're going to face that sooner or later that as the business grows, people will ask you to do more things than just what you're doing right now, and I don't think you should turn them down. And I'm sure you won't. You will just
No.
put
Well,
yourself together and figure it out.
what's been really cool and kind of what I've been enjoying the most is that through 3D printing, the 3D people that are really into 3D printing are very enthusiastic and very nice and very opening. I've met some really cool people uh that are kind of like on my level of hobbyist where they're doing 3D printing like for friends and they're just charging a little bit. And so if somebody comes with me with a problem that I can't solve, I have people now that I can point them in the direction, and we kind of like are supporting or helping each other. They've been really nice. It's a really cool community to get into.
It's
Cool.
also now very active in the Defense Department. They're now 3D printing parts for repairing airplanes and other devices. If it can be 3D printed, if the material is there to make it, it's not something that has to be made out of like a solid piece of titanium or something like that.
Yeah.
They have mobile 3D printing like uh, on trailers that they'll take to sites to support air bases and things like that.
That's
Hey,
cool.
hey
Yeah.
guys, how do you like what Katie just said? She still calls herself a hobbyist.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit ridiculous.
What? I mean, like it really is.
Hobbyist? You're breaking it. You're breaking into a full business. What the hell you mean hobbyist?
Right.
Okay, well, I've only been doing it for like a
It
month.
doesn't matter. That doesn't being professional is not a matter of a certain period.
I don't know. I
You
just
are
don't.
doing it now professionally. You
I don't know.
are advertising. You're going to cons. You are selling them.
You're paying
This is
royalties. You're
yeah.
like you're dealing with the whole
I
spectrum
don't know.
of business running.
I just I just
This is
feel
for
it
IRS
as
tax purposes. She's a
as my
hobbyist.
as my side gig.
That's it. Yep.
It's
Oh,
I still have a full-time job. That's why I keep telling people. It's so funny because I'll meet people like I don't know icons or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, can you do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, but this isn't my full-time job, so like I can only handle so much."
Katie, that's how businesses would start. That's how I started. I was a mechanic while doing computers, but I was doing it. I was selling. I
Yeah.
was building. I was selling. I was repairing. But I also had another job because you will probably quit your job at a certain point where you say, you know what, this thing here is supporting me, and I need to put more time into it, and that's a nice progression and very healthy
Mm.
than to jump right into it and now, okay, how do I pay my rent?
Yeah.
No.
I need to hire my cousin or something. Is anybody looking for a job? Because I really love what I do as my full-time job, and I don't want to quit doing that.
Okay, then that's fine.
So I could definitely want to pay
You,
somebody to take
it
over.
will it will happen, and you'll know when you're ready for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
it's
if
fine.
anybody's looking for a job, let me know.
Do you have to be in Raleigh?
No. Yeah, as long as you can ship.
Oh, but you'd have to be printing it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I literally haven't thought that far. Other
Okay,
than
well.
this is I'm at 4 printers right now. Could I add more? Yes. I would love to have like 20 printers going. Could I manage that? Absolutely not. So,
Now,
first world problems.
give it time. Give it time. It's
Yeah.
okay. All right, Nick, are you?
I am.
I didn't even.
I will
check.
be ready
Good.
momentarily. I need
Okay,
like
so that's fine.
3 to
It's
5 minutes.
That's all right. Listen to this, and I don't know how many people came across it. Google Drive users are reporting files mysteriously disappearing from the service, with some posters on the company's support forums claiming 6 or more months of work have unceremoniously vanished. The issue has been rumbling for a few days, with one user logging into Google Drive. I'll save you all this because there's an update that
Yeah.
I saw yesterday. says that Google Drive recently lost user files. This is coming from Google.
Google.
We've asked, wait a second, with some reporting missing documents since May 2023. Google said this month that it has posted a fix, but its description of a syncing issue doesn't seem to capture the problem based on user reports of web files disappearing. This is coming from Ars Technica. The company hasn't fully explained the cause of its recovery solution, which involves desktop app options and command line file recovery, the report asserts. This opaque handling, along with Google shutting down the Drive user forum that allowed people to share fixes, adds to perception that the company prioritized PR over assisting users.
Google? No.
Yeah, no, Google will never do that.
No.
Yeah.
That's a salacious accusation.
Oh, Amnon, I think we have a problem.
What?
I can't connect to your FTP site because my IP changed.
Oh, well, text it to me.
Text you my IP address?
Yes.
All right, let's ask the audience. What would you do in this situation where somebody asks you to text them your IP address? Is this something you should do or
You shouldn't do, but between
Only
us,
if
we
you
know it's
trust
okay.
the other person. But do
Okay,
it
hold on.
over encrypted.
I'm going to send it to him on Signal. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm
And while
sorry.
we're talking
Yeah.
about encrypted messaging, how about the iBeeper, iMessage beeper? I don't even
Wait,
know
what
if
happened?
to call it a fiasco or that happened. So we've talked
no.
about beeper.com in the past. It's an aggregator of chat networks, basically creating a chat client that allows you to communicate across different networks. And one of their prized solution, one of their most requested one, was being able to communicate with iMessage on non-Apple platforms.
Right.
And they do have a solution that allows to do this via your email address, but using a phone number, that still required to run on an iPhone that is connected with a SIM card to a cell network. And apparently, a few months ago, some 16-year-old fella somewhere in the world, I don't even know, I haven't read more about that, so I don't know if it's known where he's from. He reverse engineered the iMessage protocol and produced a library, a software library, I think a Python one, and um, and Beeper started working with the maintainer and the library, and they produced a new product. Beeper became Beeper Cloud, which is a cloud-based, server-based solution where they host all of your chats on their servers in an encrypted way, but still, it's your data is hosted on their servers. And they created Beeper Mini, which is a new app that you install on Androids, specifically for Androids. You install it on Androids, and it allows you to communicate with iMessage with your phone number, with the phone device's number, basically mimicking an iPhone. And they fired the opening shot, inviting all of existing Beeper Cloud users to download and register their phone numbers. There's no the server that is involved is only involved for notification. everything is happening on the phone. It's end-to-end encryption, basically very similar to what iMessage does on iPhones, and it's a paid app. So you download the app for free, but in order to activate it, you must enter a subscription. The first 7 days are free, a free trial, and then it's $2 or $3. I think $3 a month. And since the beginning, Beeper was supposed to be a paid service. It has been running for free for a while, and now with Beeper Mini, it was a way for the community to support the development. Also, iMessage is the #1 request they have in terms of networking. So they fire the starting shot, uh, and they got thousands of downloads on the first day. Okay, it was a success basically. Keep in mind, most of these downloads, they download the app knowing that they are going to be required to pay in 7 days. So a lot of these thousands of users have activated, at least those who were successful, let's say. There were issues, of course, have activated the trials, and the clock started ticking. This is Monday or maybe Tuesday. 3 days after that, iMessage communication is blocked. It was blocked on Beeper Cloud and on Beeper Mini. After, I think, an outage of less than a day. It was like it was a very long outage, but less than a day. They got things working. According to ours, no, was it Ars Technica or
One of them.
Vive?
One of them.
Yeah, I think Vice reported on this one specifically, and Apple actively tried blocking it, claiming security blah blah, which in this case was complete nonsense because the the Beeper the Beeper CEO, he's been trying to get official communications with Apple. Apparently, they it's the first time they managed to basically some sort of small outfit managed to ding Apple's facade of security conscious applications and expose the greed behind the facade. And it's an interesting ordeal. Right now, it's fixed. The Beeper said that they're going to reset the trial period for everyone. So nobody lost their 7 days worth of trial. There are a few things that will never work right now. I can't use my uh, Google Voice number, for example. One of the things that Apple does is it requires, and what they did is they mimicked this in the Android app. It requires the cell provider, the cell number be sent over the network every few days to authenticate the device. And the way it's doing it, it must be a physical wireless, an actual wireless user. And so IP-based numbers are not accepted. That means Google Fi and Google Voice cannot be used right now. Stuff like that. So it's interesting, this ordeal, how this small company from Cary, North Carolina, is managing to annoy the hell out of this giant that they actually finally paid attention. But they also were able to prove that it was never a technical decision, right? It was always a monetary decision. So it's a bit of a David versus Goliath here. We always like these stories. Uh, and yeah, I hope they succeed, because at this point it seems it's their livelihood that's going to be at stake. If they're going to miss the mark on this, and eventually fail, and Apple is going to block it forever, blah 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 blah, then it's going to be a shame. But because the work they did on the Matrix side, Matrix is the chat protocol that they have based their cloud solution, is amazing, and the amount that they contributed to the open source community around Matrix is astounding. They help stabilize things that were basically hobby maintained for a long time. So, yeah. So if you sent the IP to Amnon, circling back to all of this, it should be on end-to-end encryption, either in iMessage or Beeper Mini or Signal.
Yeah. Well, when I was saying text it to me, I mean, we use Signal.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, so are you ready?
Yes, sir. I am ready.
All right.
All right, get a load of this on Facebook Marketplace. This is a Dell, what would this be? A Dell Optiplex, I believe, or Dell Dimension.
Dude, that's my
Um,
first computer, I think.
Probably
yeah.
Dimension.
Yeah.
So this is a Dell Dimension with a some sort of early core, some Core 2 or Core, yeah, probably a single core processor in it, Intel Core that is. Running Windows XP. They originally had this on Facebook Marketplace for $125, and it's on sale for $50, which is still a terrible deal.
Yeah.
This is a computer that is well over, it's got to be over 15 years old.
Easy.
Easy. Exactly.
Yeah, but
selling
it's in mint
computer
condition.
Well, it doesn't say that, but it does say, Gal, selling computer tower only works fine. Windows XP system. So when did Vista come out? 2008, 7, 9?
Don't
I don't remember when. Somewhere in the late 2000s. Pretty wild to see that people are trying to flip 15-plus-year-old computers for 120. I had to have
100 I agree. 125 is excessive. But then again, this is like a relic, right? This is now entering antique world, where you're buying it for some sentimental value and not for
maybe. I'll tell you what.
usability.
You only
I had to clean out my closet to have the AT&T guy come in and punch through the side of the wall. I have like 5 older desktops in there, and I saw this post, and I'm gonna clean up these machines, and I'm gonna throw them on Facebook Marketplace. I might be able to make a couple $100. These are nice machines that have like i5, i7 processors in them, so maybe there's some room. Katie's over here burning up the world with her 3D printing business.
Yep.
I'm gonna start flipping old computers on Facebook Marketplace.
I'll tell you what makes those computers valuable. If they have the original Zoo Tycoon and the original Roller Coaster Tycoon and the original Age of Empires,
You can download that stuff for free. Those things are on like archive.org. This is just some
but on the original computer, I could see somebody spending $100.
This.
All right, Katie. Well, I'll pass this listing on to you. You can purchase it for us.
After specials, remind me to talk about Facebook Marketplace.
Okay, perfect.
And Nick, the people that would buy this, a person that would buy it will be a boat owner.
Would be a property master for a
boat
for a studio.
A boat owner.
Why? I'm confused.
Movie studio might buy them for creating the computer war room from the 1980s.
Oh, that's true too.
Katie, you said why would a boat owner?
Yeah.
A boat anchor.
Oh, GG. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. You're cracking jokes.
All right. I don't know if
Back
I
in the
want to be
Navy,
special.
when something was crappy, we said paint it blue and throw it to the ocean.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about doing specials after Amnon's joke, but I guess we'll push through anyway.
You're so brave.
Here's a Lenovo Flex. I mean, I really love Lenovo laptops. I don't know that I would recommend any other brand. And if I don't know that unless you're looking for a high-end gaming laptop, then you could look at MSI and Asus and some of those other brands. But if you're buying a middle to even mid-high tier laptop, I don't know that I'd recommend any other brand besides Lenovo. I've had two of them recently. I know Spence has one right now. I just they have taken over the marketplace, I think, from HP, who really had I think had the one of the large HP and Dell who had really large laptop shares. This is the Lenovo Flex 5i. It's a 14-inch touchscreen, two-in-one laptop. You can see in this case, it's on its kind of tablet mode. 13th gen, not necessarily the newest, but a decent, relatively new processor.
Fantastic.
Um,
I would say
thir-
fantastic.
13th gen Core i5 1335U. It is running Windows 11. It's Abyss Blue, which I have, and it's actually a nice color. It looks a little weird in pictures, but it's a nice color laptop. Normally $799, on sale at Costco for 500 buckaroos. So you're getting a pretty good deal on
fantastic.
this. It's a great deal. Lenovo makes hell of a lot of good laptops, and this would continue that trend. Really nice backlit keyboard, relatively thin, which is well. But there is one problem, Gal. It is a barrel jack charger. So Lenovo's
Yeah,
still hanging on to a lot of their computers have barrel jacks. I don't know if it will charge with USB-C also, but I do know that
probably
it's
not.
got
Yeah.
probably not, but it does have a barrel jack for charger. So just keep that in mind, not the end of the world. Again, Costco $4.99. This is a really good deal on a TV and soundbar combo. Get a load of this. A 75-inch Samsung UHD 4K smart television plus a 2.1 channel Dolby DTS soundbar, which comes with a soundbar and wireless subwoofer. They're wirelessly connected. The subwoofer's not wirelessly powered, of course. But you don't have to run speaker wire for it. This is a package deal that's normally $1,029. It's on sale for $550 over at Best Buy. So not only I would argue that between Samsung, Sony, and LG, those are the top three television manufacturer brands. Those are they're above the Vizios and the Hisenses and everything else. So not only are you getting a Samsung television, but you're getting a nice soundbar setup. All of it for less than 550. This is a phenomenal deal.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't so damn close to Christmas, I would be running out to Best Buy and purchasing this today. So check that out. It is available over at Best Buy. Next up, a little vacuum cleaner action going on here. Here's the Eufy. Eufy makes doorbells. That's who I've got them. They make security cameras and other things like that. They have their Clean L60 robotic vacuum. This is I will note. This is the I don't say bottom of the barrel as in it's bad. This is the entry level vacuum. This is not going to deep clean your really thick carpet. This is not going to. Some of these vacuums are like $1,300 or $1,400 from iRobot and some other companies. So manage your expectations when you're getting something like this. It has a laser navigation using iPath. It does not use LiDAR, which kind of sucks, but it will do carpet and hard floors. Smaller carpet, better results. They say this is for ideal for hard floors. It'll do little carpets here and there, and it will climb up to 20 millimeters. That's the gap that it can close when going onto a carpeted surface. Normally $279. It's on sale for $199. I'll say this: it's got a little over 11,000 reviews on Amazon, and it's got 4.4 stars. So if you know what you got, it's got an app where it will zone it. You can zone it. You can tell it no-go zones. It's got a couple different suction levels depending on the floor. So if you're looking for a entry-level robot vacuum, this is a good one to get started on. It's available over at Amazon. Next up, I'd like to throw these in here whenever they're on sale. A set of Apple AirTags. I don't have any yet, but I probably do need to get some. These are on sale for 80 bucks, a 4-pack. So you're normally spending $25 in AirTag, but they're on sale for 20 bucks in AirTag. So 4 for $80. Pretty good deal. That is available from over at Amazon as well.
Hmm.
This next one is over at Groupon, and it is a copy of Office 2021 Professional Plus. I don't know how much this normally costs. It says 250. I don't know if that's
That's
the real.
that's better than what is the Stack Socials price?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So this is 2021 Office for Windows. You can get it for 25 bucks. Or 25 bucks plus it goes down to 21.25 with a promo code. There's only 17 hours left on that. For Mac, there is still a discount. It's not as cheap. You can get it for $56 if you have a Mac and you're looking for a copy. You're buying it from Groupon. Not that Stack Social's not a reputable brand, because it is, but you're buying something from Groupon. So you're getting, you're getting some customer support with it. Groupon's a very reputable company. I don't think there's a lot of hesitation
And
there.
and remember, you're just getting the key. You're buying the
Correct.
key. You download the software.
Yeah, there is no
from
CD, there is no
Microsoft.
flash
Right.
drive.
There's no box, no CD. Right.
Nope, none of that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, good deal for if you're looking for a standalone copy of Office, maybe on a desktop you don't use very often, but you'd like to have Word on it and you're sick of dealing with the activation pop-ups and things like that. So check that out. It is available from Groupon. Next up, Govee. I love talking about Govee. They make really, 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 really cool products, and they're so unbelievably cheap. Here is a Govee 3-pack Wi-Fi water sensor plus its gateway. Now, this does not use Z-Wave. This is proprietary with the Govee app. But for $30, if it's around for 5 or 6 years and then the company goes under, I'd say you still probably got a pretty good deal on it. So you're getting 3 water sensors and a gateway. God, I can't believe how cheap this is.
Yeah.
For all of this. And the app is free. There's no subscription. There's no indication they're ever going to charge for the app. Again, that stuff could change. But Wi-Fi gateway, which by the way also is a siren. So the Wi-Fi gateway is the hub where the sound comes out of, which is nice. So you put the Wi-Fi gateway maybe in the living room or somewhere relatively close by, and then your water sensors and crawl spaces and things like that. My father actually, I think, has this setup, and they've been happy with it. I think it's gone off a time or two. $30, that's available over at Amazon, or you can get the 5-pack as well for. Actually, it looks like both of them are the same price. Oh yeah, the 5-pack doesn't come. Excuse me. So the 3-pack with the gateway is $30, and then you can get a 5-pack of just the leak detectors if you need a whole bunch of them for another $30. So check that out, available over at Amazon. 2 final products here for Christmas. Arcade 1-Up Street Fighter 2 Legacy Edition arcade machine is available from all major retailers: Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, and Kohl's. The one cool thing about buying it from Kohl's, you get $60 Kohl's cash. So it brings that price down a couple bucks, and you can buy some other stuff there. Not a bad deal.
This is not really stand next to, right?
It is. Yeah.
Oh.
You notice, though, it's got a platform at the bottom of it. You typically have to buy that extra. That little bottom piece is a platform. But a lot of people just build their own or use some sort of box thing that they drape a cloth or something over to do it. Arcade 1-Up makes a lot of cool stuff. Again, $2.99 available at all major retailers. Link to the Slick Deals post in our specials. And then I put this product in here, not to make fun of it, but there is still a use case for this.
Absolutely.
This is a 720p 19-inch television. And I actually have this TV. It's in the studio of the radio station. I needed a small TV in there just to have on the side while I'm doing the morning show. And this is great for a security camera system. This is great for Home Assistant, which we talk about a lot. You could run a small little Raspberry Pi or some sort of other computer into this and use it as a monitor. There's a lot of use cases where you would want a small 19-inch television / monitor, and it is a full TV, so you could hook up coax to it or something like that. Presumably, it's got a couple of HDMI inputs. It is not a smart TV, so be mindful of that. But it does have two HDMI ports and a USB port plus RF, or plus
VGA.
composite video in, so you can hook in composite video. And cool enough, it actually has a audio outputs via headphone jack or a digital coax.
It's really
So
hard to find a TV this small.
very hard, yeah.
And
And I'm
50 for
glad
50
Insignia
bucks
is
is
still
great
making it.
price. Yes.
Yeah,
Because I searched for one. Yeah.
I think they're the only ones making it. And I've had this in the studio now for a little bit. It's perfect for that use case. Again, why might you want a TV over a computer monitor? Well, in the case of what I do, speakers, to not have to have an external set of speakers. I can easily flip the audio on and off. $49.99, $50 over at Best Buy. And that is specials as we approach Christmas time.
Thank you, Nick. Very nice. Is that TV at the studio? How does it look from the side if you're like at
I
45
don't know.
degrees?
It's so in the studio, I've got one of those a monitor stand mounts, and it's 3 arms. It's got 3
Okay.
things. So in the front is the computer that I use, to the left is the TV, and to the right is
Okay,
the
so you're
computer
always in
automation
front
system.
of it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not really in a position where you could look from it off skew, but
Okay.
I don't think it's that bad. I'll check when I'm in there Monday. But yeah, that's that for specials.
All right.
Yep.
I'm
Golf,
gonna.
Facebook
So,
Marketplace.
so
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, First things first about the laptop. Fantastic, phenomenal, and I sent the long rant in our chat this week. I've upgraded my. I'm using a machine from 2016. It is an i7 sixth generation, I think, if I remember correctly. And it is running smoothly. All it needed was proper RAM. I'm using the equivalent of an i3 of 10th generation, basically, right? And that machine that you posted is i5 13 generation, right? Generation 13. That, like, people, an i3 of the current generation, the previous generation, the one before that, they're all phenomenal machines, right? And what you're getting for those, what you're getting on newer generation, maybe is better power control, but overall, right, performance-wise, as a human, my guess is you won't notice the difference. So anything that has generation 12 on it, which was a jump, a huge jump in Intel's architecture, is already far and beyond anything we've ever used before. And so if the price is right, go for it. 16 gigabytes of memory should be the minimum. I know that there are laptops sold with 8, and those work. 16 gigabytes should be the minimum. I am an abuser of systems. My system, which I would call its current state right now idle, right? This is the base where I always start and run things over. I'm at 27 gigabytes of RAM of use, and that's why I installed on this system 64 gigabytes. But this is a desktop. This is something. So 16 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes. RAM shouldn't be expensive today. So figure out how to upgrade your RAM. Trust me, the increase in performance is going to be huge, huge. So a laptop for $500 with a touch screen, right? And it can flip as a tablet, which makes it very versatile for in-home use. It's probably not light, but still, it might be very comfortable to take it, to bed or at the desk or at the table or at the kitchen counter or something like that. $500, what you're getting there, you're getting an amazing machine. So
Plus, it has Wi-Fi 6, it has Bluetooth 5, it has a backlit keyboard, it's got a fingerprint reader.
right, it has
So
all of that, right? And I would everything you mentioned is great, right? But I would put that like the fact that it has enough RAM and it has a modern CPU, it doesn't really matter as long as it's just from the past couple of years. It's a phenomenal machine. So
It's like
understand
it's like buying a car and you find the car you want, but it has an extra package that has a bunch of cool stuff
exactly.
that you didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
need. That's what
yeah,
it's like. It just sweetens it.
yeah.
Yeah.
There, completely. So that's why, like, I'm. It's been a long time since we've seen stuff like that, priced like that. That's the thing, right? So it's great to seeing that again. And what you're
I'm
getting
sitting here
today is
tempted. I don't need a new machine. I shouldn't
I,
buy anything.
I
I'm
I'm the
looking at
same.
this
It's
like,
like this is such a great price. I don't need it. It's like uh yeah. So that was on that. Uh
Can I say
the
one other
basic
thing about those Lenovo's? And Gal and Katie will probably disagree with this, but the one I have, it's got 4 gigs of RAM and it's got another DIMM. And up to this point, I've had no reason to get another stick. I will eventually, probably when the computer gets a little bit older and starts slowing down, I can pop another stick in there. But it's got 4 gigs. Oh, maybe it's got 8.
what's
I don't
the
know.
NVMe size?
512 or 256. I don't know. Let me go grab it. Hold on.
So I'm
512,
guessing I
512.
am guessing that the swap is on the NVMe, and uh, it probably performs well enough for mundane tasks. So the 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 um the performance range is between the, the available RAM and the speed of the NVMe as a swap device, right? So yeah, it's still fantastic, right? Compared to anything we've run before on physical media.
Yeah, and we need to add that if you are at home and you have a laptop and it has 8 gig on it and it's doing what it's supposed to do, don't feel bad.
Excuse
It's
me. It
okay.
is 8 gig. It's not 4. It's 8 gig.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
but 8 gig is kind of the minimum now. And I've been
yeah.
surprised. And
I would
and
aim on 16.
sure. And I had all intentions of putting another stick of RAM in there. I just haven't had a reason to yet. It's
Yeah.
I do light work on it. I did a little Photoshop project yesterday. No issues with it. Um, I mostly just use it for more web stuff than anything else. I do some audio recording on it from time to time. But it's been great. And
Yeah, the
this
bottom
is a
line, you don't see a reason to add RAM.
no, not
You're
yet. There
comfortable.
will
Yeah.
be, but
Right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
not yet. So I've
Yeah.
been I mine's got a 12th gen i5 in it. So been
Yeah.
and it's that same color, that blue. And
By the
I've been
way, talking about RAM again, so one thing I do think is important to share is how do you decide whether you need more RAM, right? Other than things are feeling sluggish.
Hmm.
So if you check in Windows in Task Manager, you switch to the Performance tab, uh, then there are a couple of values there that are of importance. And let's see. What you should probably be interested in, there are two main values. One is committed and the other is in use. Now, committed is the total RAM allocated by applications that are running, but it's the virtual number. It's like the total of everything that's running, including regions of RAM that are less used in the system. Uh, and the other number is in use, which is how much of the physical RAM is right now captured, is in use and cannot be allocated for anything else. So you want your in use to never, right? Like never go above 80%. The reason I say never is because you need that margin that's left for tasks that might need to allocate for a very, very short time and move things around. So you need a little bit of space of free RAM. Now, this is true for Windows. Let's say if you're running a server for Windows Desktop, If you're running a server, you need to look at it differently because applications on servers, SQL Server, for example, they will take all of the RAM. And so you need to look at different numbers there. Or if you're running Linux, you need to look at it completely different because Linux will allocate all of the memory as it goes on and it never frees it. There are different processes where memory is freed, but you'll need to trigger those in order to measure those. So different concept. I'm talking about Windows desktop. So committed and in use. If those numbers hover above the especially if committed is hovering above the amount of RAM you have in more than 10% over that, right? Then you need more RAM. And the moment you put more RAM, you will feel an increase in performance that will be profound. You will feel the difference. Okay, so very important. Yeah, Amnon, can you pin Nick's view? Nick, start talking and explain what you're showing.
What I'm showing is the tab that Gal was talking about. So I have 32 gigs of RAM. See, it's 31.9 available. And I've got 18 in use. And 13 and a little less than 13 and a half available on the system right now. And you can see that committed 33 out of 79 gigs committed. This is what Gal was talking about
right.
within regards. And this is under the, let's see if I can move this over a little bit. This is this little icon here is the performance tab. So when you open up Task Manager, it'll go to this one. You just have to switch down to the performance tab. There you go.
Yep.
Bill is saying today's specials are not yet posted. Well, they should be.
I know they are. They are.
They're up there.
I opened
there.
them. Yeah. Okay. And another reference to the specials, the Govi stuff. So yes, you're right. It uses an external server and all that, but Govi does have an internal API that there are some Home Assistant third-party integrations, open integrations that you can install and control Govi locally. Not 100%, not control so much, but get the data and alerts. You can create alerts through it. I don't know if you can activate the siren without connecting to the service, but the internal API is definitely something that can be controlled with open source Home Assistant. So it's not a bad choice, right? It's just a choice that might someday go bad, but right now definitely possible and definitely can be controlled locally without Govi servers, or at least maybe the connection will require connection to the Govi server, but after that it'll be internal. So keep that in mind. That's definitely a good choice. So the last thing I want to talk about is Facebook Marketplace. Not specifically Facebook Marketplace, but different. In general, all of the local sales, person-to-person sort of services, we've been personally experiencing a very interesting scam process. We posted a chair, an office chair. We bought a new office chair and we wanted to see if anybody would want to buy the old one. Posted it and got a response
right away.
Pretty much, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes after posting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, great. There's a fantastic price. Now, a week earlier, we sold a mixer. We bought a new mixer, sold the old one. The old one had some, it was slowing down. So we sold it really marked up low because there's a good chance that the person who's going to buy it will need to repair it, right? So we didn't want to be greedy there and so we posted it with all of the information. And yes, we got quick response, but most of the responses were about people who really thought we're selling something completely okay. And when they understood that they might need to look in further, that dropped. But we did sell it within a couple of days. So great experience, right? Then we said, okay, it's time to sell the chair. We got a new chair. We sold the old chair. 20 minutes into, we get a post that says, oh, did we mark it too low? And the post and the person on the other end says, I'm really interested. Where can we meet? And I will send do you and I will send my brother, and it's always my brother or
Yep.
like my I will send my brother to pick it up, but I'd like to pay through using Zelle. Now,
Zelle.
I have nothing against Zelle. Zelle is fantastic, right? It's it's a Venmo or a PayPal equivalent that is most likely already hooked up to your bank if you're using any of the US based banks over here. And so it's a rather simple way of sending information. But we did not have Zelle set up on Mati's account, and Mati was handling all of that, and she wanted to track it. And so we said we're not using Zelle. First, the response was basically a sale pitch. Oh, why aren't you using Zelle? Zelle is great. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, we turned out it was set up. I just not activated. So I told Mati, you can send this email. I set it up with an email and not with a phone number. Reasons, different reasons. I would recommend use email. Uh, because that allows you a lot more control. Phone number is very hard to change. Email address is not so much. So so we send the email, uh, and the person is a bit sketchy about our emails because our emails we use a separate address for every single thing that we do. We said no, this is the email, and lo and behold, no payment come through, right? But what we got a fantastically formed email, as if it was sent from Zelle, claiming that funds are caught in are delayed because of some verification issues on our end. Now, I've used Zelle officially in my bank account, and yes, there are situations like this when transferring with Zelle, and they are just the scammers. They're just jumping on it. The email was formed meticulously, everything except it didn't address me. It addressed the dear customer, uh, and um, uh, and of course the addresses were a bit off. Not enough, but a bit. Uh, so the form is I am sending it, and somebody else is going to come and pick it up. That is the usual form. And immediately after, there's going to be some sort of uh, failure in sending funds. Now, the most important thing is the mistake they did here is we while we did the chair, we also posted another thing. I don't even remember that, and we got another response from another person, and it was as if we're getting a form letter. We're working with the same exact script, and that other one was also saying, "I am out of town. I will send my brother. They'll come pick it up. And are you using Zelle and Venmo?" And that triggered, okay, this is a scam, right? At that point I told Mati, don't even stop, just block the person. You don't even need to explain yourself. If you really want to say you're a scammer, I'm blocking you, but other than that, do nothing else. Just disengage, because the more you engage, the more you start to build like some sort of psychological attachment to the process. And for the first one, which was going on for a day and a half, I saw how Mati, not realizing yet where we're at, was like she was like trying to hold on to the deal basically, right, and not disengaging. And I can understand if somebody is not there to just yank you out of it, you might be pulled in. You might click the links. You might call the phones. you might, you'll start doing things, right, that you will later regret. So, like, do yourself a favor. Always assume the worst of these things. Luckily, the we only set public meeting spots, so we never exposed anything more than our name that's already exposed in Facebook. So just be meticulous about understanding who and what you're meeting. And if you are selling something, hey, ask for cash, right? It's the easiest thing. Yeah, no cash, no problem, no deal, and that's it. So yeah, it's still out around, and it's like, if we're getting to it and we're not very exposed, I'm sure people are getting to it left and right. So
Yeah, I've seen this a lot,
yeah,
unfortunately.
and I don't know. It's like something's broken because these systems were set up in to protect us, right? In a way, they're selling us a security service in sort of, right? That's the whole idea of safe transfer online and all that. But somehow that process is still broken. It's still too easy to be hacked, and that is annoying as hell. I just, something needs to change.
You're playing off the human weakness too. So because if you did if everything that they put in place for a service is, you're aware of the limitations of it, it probably works great. But if you're just going ahead and say, oh, no problem, you have your brother meet me and I'll take it, and it's just people aren't aware of it because you think about it, what you went through to get to the point where you realized that this wasn't going to work.
Yeah, yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It took two iterations of you get to a deja vu point and says, wait a minute, something doesn't add
And
up,
you
right?
you are a very cautious person, Gal.
Yeah.
you
When it comes to
understand what's
online activity,
happening.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Yup.
I'm sitting here, Nick, looking to find the best AirTag keyring,
Oh, yes.
and all the reviews, all of them have something really wrong with them. Like, it's just hard to find something. Oh, this broke after a month. So you got to look. You got to really check through all the reviews. Some of them, oh, waterproof. This looks great. Well, it's great unless your AirTag is on the outside of your bag and it gets stuck on the carousel at the airport and it rips it off. So
All right.
A lot of luggages now, and these are obviously newer luggages, but you can even make them. There's little, like, you put it in a little slot, or the most luggages have that really stupid pouch on the front that's
yeah,
so narrow that there's seemingly nothing useful that you could put in there anyway.
why
Um,
why wouldn't you just put it inside the luggage?
well, that's what
I
most
don't
people
know.
do.
That's what you
Yeah,
should do.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
why put it
and
on the outside so somebody could steal it or
yeah, no,
broken off?
well, you don't want people to know, if you're trying to not catch a criminal, but if you, yeah, somebody might be stupid enough to grab it. There's some of the AirTag holders that you can buy that you actually sew in, and you would sew it into the inside of your luggage, and then you just pull the
Well,
AirTag in and out.
the main reason for this was a set of lost keys. We did eventually find them, but it Amnon can tell you I had to borrow his metal detector because we thought we lost it in the front lawn somewhere. It was an ordeal to try to find this, and it would have been nice to be able to just, oh yeah, here it is, because it really never left the premises. It was always here. It just,
Oh.
but
All right. Did anybody see this? I have not. A few days ago, and this is from last week, it was spotted that the HP Smart app was being installed on people's PCs without their consent. Even worse, the app would appear if users tried to uninstall it, or clean install Windows. Now, the cause has finally been identified. A recent Windows 10 and 11 update is renaming everyone's printers to HP LaserJet M101 M106, regardless of what model it actually is. As reported on Windows latest, the latest update for Windows 10 and 11 seems to think that people's printers are an HP LaserJet model, regardless of their actual brand. It is believed that the bug appeared after HP pushed its latest metadata to Windows Update, but something went screwy in the code and caused other printers to be labeled as HP LaserJet printers. Did you see this? Did anybody see?
I don't have a laser printer, so
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what printer you have. Did you see it? It names every printer that you have a LaserJet. That's the whole problem here.
What
Renaming everyone's printers to HP LaserJet.
and
If you
this
have a
was
brother or if you have whatever,
what's the vulnerable machine type here?
it's a Windows 10 and 11 update.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm checking.
Yeah, the bug only affects the
smart up
metadata.
automatic
It
install.
everything keeps working, but it is labeled HP LaserJet M101 M106. That's what they're saying.
Mine are fine, at least on this machine.
Well, keep in mind, I am not getting updates on the first wave.
Okay, well,
And I think most users are not. You
it
need
says that,
to actually
yeah, wait 7 days.
right. So
Yeah.
I think by default it's I'm on the wait 7 days.
So it says
So
that Microsoft has since removed the fault metadata from Windows Update, so everyone performing a clean install from now on should get the original printer name back and stop the HP Smart app from re-downloading.
yeah,
So,
I agree. It sounds absurd.
yep. But so nobody's seen this.
No.
Oh,
Nope.
interesting.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Um,
Do you
I
have an
don't.
article about Gemini?
I thought I did. I sent you something.
No, I found it online.
Yeah.
TikTok's talking about
Talk
it.
about it. Yeah, I do have a little
Gemini
thing.
is Google's AI, what do you want to call it, software? But the thing that
Engine.
makes engine, yeah. So the thing that makes it stand out though is that it's more conversationalist and it does image recognition. So the sample or example that they showed was they had a camera that was pointing down at a desk and somebody slid a piece of paper in the under thing. I was like, what is this? And Gemini was like, oh, it's a piece of paper. And then they drew uh, a line or a squiggly line and was like, oh, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's a drawing of a squiggly line. So it recognizes things and they were having dialogue about it.
Well, the article I have is a little bit different. Speaking of early impressions of Gemini, users' confidence in Google might be shaken further to learn that the company pretty much faked the most impressive demo of Gemini.
Really?
A video called Hands On with Gemini interacting with multimodal AI hit 1 million views over the last day, and it's not hard to see why. The impressive demo highlights some of our favorite interactions with Gemini, showing how the model can be flexible and responsive to a variety of inputs. But it was all a video that they created.
It was edited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Alrighty then.
Well,
ChatGPT still number
it's
one.
like movies based on real events.
Yeah.
There was an event,
Uh,
something happened, but the movie has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's
yep.
like based on true story.
Yeah.
If any likeness is related to somebody real, it was a coincidence.
Yep. Um, in this day and age, where we all know about all kind of scams and social phishing and all, the FBI investigated a man who allegedly posed as a police officer in emails and phone calls to trick Verizon to hand over phone data belonging to a specific person that the suspect met on a dating section of porn site X Hamster,
Oh my
according to a newly
gosh.
unsealed court record.
Wait, what
This,
happened? What the FBI did what?
they're investigating him.
They disclosed
Yeah.
somebody pretended to be law enforcement and they gave away records.
Verizon handed over the
Hmm.
victim's data to the alleged stalker, including their address and phone logs. The stalker then went on to threaten the victim and ended up driving to where he believed the victim lived while armed with a knife, according to the record.
Jesus.
The
This is what you
news,
get for watching porn.
well, the news is a massive failure by Verizon, who did not verify that the data request was fraudulent and the company potentially put someone's safety at risk.
I mean,
I'll be
wow.
damned.
Well, you know what? There's good reason for this. These companies are. There have been how many stories in the past have we talked about?
Right.
Some poor little girls in the middle of being abducted, and somebody reaches out to the phone carriers, and the process took too long, and she dies.
Yeah.
And while that's a terrible story, and it's absolutely terrible story, those companies have processes and systems in place to
Yep.
verify those
Yep.
things. And they've gotten so much shit in the past few years over this that now apparently any random jackass can call Verizon and say, "Hey, I'm the FBI. I want to find this guy and get the information."
Yeah.
This is a
It's
public
scary.
perception issue.
Yeah.
But it's a public perception issue. They're under the heat because God forbid, another kid is abducted or something like that and they weren't quick enough and it's all their fault. It's pretty wild.
I think, I mean, I didn't see anything from this article. I don't know if they just called and whoever they got a hold of, they talked with them. I think companies like that should have a department that deals with police, with law enforcement when they want information and all that. And they should be well trained to find out whether that person is real or not. Not every customer support person at Verizon should be able to hand over information to somebody
Well,
who
I'm
says.
sure they can.
So I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
let's
know.
be honest. Your level 1 tech that you're calling is not able to do this. But, it's around. When did this happen? Was this recently?
Yeah.
Like how recent?
It doesn't say, but I mean, the article just says that it's investigated a man who allegedly posed, and it was
Yeah,
from last
I
week.
wonder, it's around between Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's a lot more people on vacation, out of the
Yeah.
office, shorter staff. Oh man, I can't get a hold of this guy. Let's just approve it anyway. I wonder if that plays into it.
I'm sure it does. Yeah. I mean, we need to get it right now because of that and that,
Yeah.
But if it's a well trained person on the other side, on the company side, they can ask a few questions and find out. And still, it may be 5 minutes later, but it's not going to take weeks to get the information over. So I don't know. It's easier said than done. It's hindsight 2020, whatever you want. Yeah. Um, End-to-end encryption you were talking about, Gal, right?
Right.
So Meta has started enabling end-to-end encryption by default for chats and calls on Messenger and Facebook, despite protests from the FBI
Protest?
and other law
Oh,
enforcement agencies. What?
okay. No, protest? Okay, from them.
Yeah. Um, that they are opposed widespread use of encryption technology. Today, I'm delighted to announce that we are rolling out default end-to-end encryption for personal messages and calls on Messenger and Facebook. This is coming from Meta VP of Messenger Loredana Chrisen. So in April, a consortium of 15 law enforcement agencies from around the world, including the FBI and ICE Homeland Security investigations, urged Meta to cancel its plan to expand the use of end-to-end encryption. They
I
complained that terrorists, sex traffickers, child abusers, and other criminals will use encrypted messages to evade law enforcement. Now, there is something
I
to
mean,
it.
yes,
Yes.
yes, but um, I don't think like especially in popular media, right? Law
Mhm.
enforcement uh is deemed to be this tech savvy work task that
Right.
can uh, automatically lift things out of thin air, right? That doesn't really exist. And I understand that it's going to make their job a bit harder. Uh, but still, privacy is important. What I am interested in, though, is it the same all over the world? Are
Apparently.
they uh, like are they also doing that in China? Are they
I
also
doubt
doing
that.
it in
Yeah.
in India, in Japan, and etc. Right? It's like, is it going to be that way really, or that's number one. Now, I mean, will pedophiles and sex traffickers and arms dealers will stop communicating in code within their messaging? That will be a good thing because yes, you won't be able to see through that conversation, but when you do capture it with subpoena, you actually get good evidence. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It sounds like I am for it. I I don't trust Meta in any way in such a notification. I don't think it'll make them more trustworthy. Maybe make them a horde of white supremacists and pedophiles and arms dealers. Maybe, I don't know.
And talking about surveilling phones, unidentified governments are surveilling smartphone users via their apps' push notifications. A U.S.
That
senator
makes
warned
sense.
on Wednesday. In a letter to the Department of Justice, the senator said that foreign officials were demanding the data from Alphabet's Google and Apple. Although details were sparse, the letter lays out yet another path by which governments can track smartphones. Apps of all kinds rely on push notifications to alert smartphone users to incoming messages, breaking news, and other updates. That gives the two companies unique insight into the traffic flowing from those apps to the users, and in turn puts them in a unique position to facilitate government surveillance of how users are using particular apps.
Right. So let's clarify and explain the
All
technicality here.
right.
Um, Amnon, you send me an SMS,
Yeah.
okay, using cell technology. What happens is the message traveled through the different cell providers. It is audited along the way for billing purposes, right? And that message, unencrypted, eventually reaches my phone, and the app on the phone gets an update from the cell network, and the app pops up a notification. So
Mm-hmm.
that's SMS messaging.
Right.
Anything that is IP based, the applications on our phone, they need a server to talk to
Right.
and ask, do I have any messages? Because if I want to communicate with over Signal, okay, which is very uh, very privacy centric, right? If I want to communicate to you via Signal, we still, even if the communication passes eventually directly between our phones, we still need to have a server somewhere in the middle, called usually coined a relay, that transfers data between your phone to mine, because you can push to that server, but you cannot be sure that my phone will be online to receive that. So you need a different server so my phone can go there and say, hey, do I have anything new? So that communication goes to a central location, right? In this case, Signal's server, for example.
Okay.
The difference between the way, let's say, Signal and other works, privacy centric, uh, 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 privacy centric hubs, and others, even Apple and Google and all those, is those servers hold the entirety of the message, and that message might contain like the actual text of the message because it's a notification that's being sent,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so law enforcement finally figured the point that, okay, we can't subpoena the data uh, from whoever's running the app, but we can subpoena, or at least we can try to subpoena the data, uh, the metadata from the relay servers. Uh, and that contains a lot of information. It is very similar to what's happening today when they subpoena from cell companies call records, right? Because they give a phone number and they get from the cell companies a list of, okay, this phone number was called by these numbers and it called these numbers, right? That metadata usually provides triangulation information and enough information to say, okay, that person was here and there and all that. A notification server will know what the IP you were calling from, you were sending the data from. So if you were connected to Wi-Fi, it can pinpoint you basically to a house, right? To a building. If you're not connected to a Wi-Fi, then it will at least locate you in the vicinity of a cell tower, right? So it's enough to triangulate location. It's enough to provide enough information of whether you were in movement or not. And sometimes it will also contain the actual content of the notification message, like a new message and a subject, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes an image. Push notifications from Ring, right? They contain an image from the camera. So all of that is uh, is is being talked now. There are those who do push notification that are encrypted, so only a small amount of metadata is exposed. Other have everything in the open, like SMS.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's just really also, I mean, when you read this and you say, yeah, I mean, have you ever been around somebody that their phone goes ding every 10 seconds? Ding ding,
Yeah, because they have the
ding
text notifications turned
from
on.
everywhere.
Yep. Loud too. Yep.
Why are you attacking me, Amber?
I'm not.
Mhm.
I didn't notice this about you,
Well, leave me alone.
but I
It's
know
very offensive.
Kathy's, boy, weather, and all kind of stuff that's, I mean,
Yeah.
why do you need all this? Can't you
Why
just
not?
So,
click on it and check and see what the weather is like? I don't know.
Nick, question: uh,
What?
What's the process on iPhone to disable specific notifications?
Would you mean specific per app or
You got
specific type?
you got a notification now that you've been getting for, I don't know, the last few days, and it's annoying you. And you say, okay, I don't want this notification.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying. Are you
care.
talking about from a specific app?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you just go into the notification settings for that app, and you can
D-
decide if you want it.
Go through the process like you're like a 5-year-old explain it. Like
Well, I can show you the process. Hold on.
it's like
Mm, mm,
this is a
mm,
service,
mm.
people. If there are notifications, if you're overburdened with notifications, a lot of them you do not care about hearing the sound or even seeing them. There's a process of filtering out what you can and cannot receive, right? You can block these, and it's rather easy. So Nick
It's
will
a lot.
say the iPhone one.
It's a lot easier to add them.
Well, not necessarily, because sometimes you do not know what to expect.
Mm.
So
Anyway,
they all start enabled, right?
yeah.
And so understand how to disable them.
All
That's
right,
fine.
Nick.
Hold on, Am. I'm
Oh,
working on.
are you going to display something or?
I'm going. Yes, I think. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Okay. So, this is the iPhone setting menu, and you just tap on notifications, and you can see at the top, you can decide how you want your notifications to be displayed, all list, count, whatever. And then you just scroll down to whatever app. So in the case of Ace Hardware, there's a couple of options. You can disable notifications completely for the app, just turn off allow notifications and it won't pop anything up. Or you can change where it shows up. So if you don't want to get a sound for it or a badge, or a badge for it, you can make it so that it only shows up in your notification center, which is the pull down menu, or just on the lock screen, vice versa. It's per app. It's very simple and easy to do. That's
Okay,
it.
so this is after you're listening to us and we told you about this, and you remember where it is. That's fine. What happens if you just got a notification? I just sent you a message over Signal, right?
Mhm.
So what happens if, okay, you got this message and it's been annoying you for the past couple of weeks, where you've been acknowledging them and all that, you've been noticing, but you want it to stop, right? What do you do now? Can you just in Android, right? The reason I'm asking, because I'm sure that in Apple system is as easy as in Android. I don't think Android came with it first. But in Android, all you do is just you basically long press that notification, and then you can either disable it completely or choose how it will behave. If it'll make a sound, not make a sound, show up on the top of the screen, show up at the bottom, etc. There's
Yes.
full control of that,
So here's
and
this.
that's
This is
immediate.
a
That's in a reaction
yep.
to a notification, right?
So this is a Grubhub notification. I can mute it for an hour, mute it for the day. I can view settings, or I can just turn it off completely right from the home screen.
And then when you view settings,
It'll take you to that notifications pane that I showed before.
excellent, and you can configure all of that, and the
Mhm.
same for Android. So people,
Yes, sir.
you if you get notifications that you hate, this is the easiest thing to do, right? Yes, I mean, the better way would be, if you don't need that application, uninstall it. But sometimes just disabling notification is enough if the app is useful, but you do not care about the notification,
You know what
right?
notification I loved at 4:13 this morning was an Amber Alert sent out by
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
North Carolina. Did anybody else get this at 4 o'clock
You
this
can
morning?
and you can't block
No,
those.
No, you can no, which is I'm
no, you
glad you
can
can.
block them completely. Yeah,
Yeah, which is good, because you shouldn't be able to. But I just don't know why they sent it out at 4 o'clock this morning.
yeah,
It's an automated thing.
that sounds strange.
Well, it's
Never
funny.
happened.
I think there was an error because when of course I woke up to it this morning,
Yeah.
having a heart attack. Um, the same notification came out 12 hours beforehand. So I wonder if they keyed it in wrong the first time, like 4:20 a.m. And then we're like, oh
Mm.
crap. And then did it 4:20 p.m. and it went out. And then they forgot to delete the 4:20 a.m. one because it was the same
I
Amber
don't
Alert.
know if they can. Think about the way this dispersed. I don't think it's like a server. It's not IP based. It's something else, right? So
Yeah.
once
Well,
it's
so
sent, yeah.
yeah, so that was great. I was actually at an event yesterday with about 200 people when the Amber Alert came off, and somebody was in the middle of speaking, and then it just slowly trickled. "Bah, bah, bah," and the next thing, the whole room is freaking out, and everybody's like, "All right, everybody, hold on a second," while the Amber Alert goes off.
There was a show a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, about an AI going amok, getting sentient and starting to fight back. And one of the things they did there, so a dad and his child are running away from it, and so the AI hooking up, the all reaching AI, just sent an Amber Alert, looking out for them, because it couldn't locate them on their own. And they're in like I don't know, a marketplace or something, and suddenly you see everybody going to their phone. Yeah, very effective system in order to, especially with a crowd, getting the attention of a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. It's this time of day.
No.
Anything else anybody wants to add now? I
Nope.
guess not. All right. So thanks, Katie.
No problem.
Thanks, Nick.
My pleasure.
And Spence. Is he there?
Spence has
gone.
left the building.
And thanks, Gal. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and change same password where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen to him. If you miss it, you can always go to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Infection Podcast on Twitch by Nick and Brian are, you need to get to the website to Infection Podcast. Twitch.tv. Say what?
Just go to the website, infectionpodcast.com. Drop everything else off.
Okay.
No Twitch, no run. Just go to the
All
website.
right. So go to infectionpodcast.com to see which day it's going to be this week.
Just listen to the podcast. You're good to go. You don't need to watch it live.
Well, it's for survival games, gaming, news, and some political commentary. And we'll be back together next week. Bye, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.